All right, lead gen. Oh, let's give it a couple more minutes, I think, right?
Hi,
Wait a few more minutes.
Yeah, you can introduce yourself, tell
Yeah.
us who you are and
Awesome.
why you're here.
All right, so my name is Andrey. I have been in the business about 7 years now. And last year closed 49 deals personally, and a few more with the team. I have a small team. So I'm doing okay in real estate. I wanted to do this class in particular because I built my business on like consistent prospecting and lead gen. So I felt like it'd be the right fit for me to teach and for me to guys pour into you guys. So lead gen class, you guys have any questions before we start? No, we're good? All right, so we'll jump right in. Okay, so today we're basically going over lead gen. Anybody know, like, you guys know what lead generation is?
We talked about it yesterday.
Talked about it yesterday? Okay, so lead generation, pretty much the way I see it is just looking for business. Like, how do you find your leads? How do you find your business? Okay, and that's what we're gonna go over, just different types of lead generation methods. I'll answer any questions you guys might have. I will really jump into what I did when I started and what I'm doing now to get leads and to find business in this market. Okay.
Pointed at the screen. Oh, that's because Carnegie clicked on something else. Our fault. He is notorious. There you go, sir.
There it is.
Yay.
All right. So what successful agents do every day is a lot, right? So all of these are equally important in your business. Lead generation is going to be the first step. Without leads, without business, you guys will not get to this part, right? So growing your business is looking for leads, setting seller appointments, setting buyer appointments, and running your business is everything that you guys see here. Okay. Now, the main focus on lead generation, again, like I said, you will not get to do all of this unless you have leads, unless you have business. Any questions so far? No? Okay. So what I want to start with is the lead generation model. Okay. So lead generation are things that you do on a daily basis as far as cold calling, door knocking, open houses. Calling your database, your spirit. Now, lead generation is what you're actively doing to find leads. Now, your database is another form of lead generation, but we separate it because you do it in a different way. And we'll go over that in a second as well. And so, one second. I want to go through this one by one. So, when you lead gen and when you work on your database, you're basically filling your sales pipeline with the future business that you're going to close. Okay. It's almost like a funnel, and I think they actually have a funnel. There it is. All right. So we're going to start with prospecting and marketing. We're going to capture those leads, right? And we're going to throw those leads into our CRM or whatever way we're keeping track. You guys use a CRM? Yes? No? What kind of CRM do you use? Command? Command? Everybody use Command? I don't care what you use as long as you're using.
What do you use?
I use like 3 different ones. That's probably the wrong way. But so I'm using Real Geeks. I use Command for my past clients, and then I also use Mojo, which is a dialer. And I'll jump into what I do as well. It's a dialer, and so I kind of use it as a CRM as well. And I'm looking for something to centralize it in, so I'm not doing it the right way. But doesn't matter what you use. If you're using a spreadsheet, as long as you're doing it. Because once you get those leads from prospecting and marketing, you have to follow up with them somehow, okay? If you're not following up with them, you're just losing them. So I'm training my new assistant today, and I have one piece of marketing, lead generation that I do, and they email me the leads. And I put those leads in a folder, and then I have to transfer those leads to my CRM, right? I'm telling my assistant, look, before you remove it from this folder, it better have a follow-up in my CRM, or else that lead is lost. And that's what I mean by using a CRM. You have to keep track. So if you're not keeping track of that lead, shit's gone. Like, your business is gone. That's $10,000 right there. That's how I treat every phone call. Every single lead that I get is 10 grand, at least, right? And if I lose it, I might not pay my mortgage next month. So the CRM is super, super important. That the fact that all of you are using Command, that's great. And the way when I just started in real estate, we were using eEdge. Okay, that was a free program, CRM offered by KW at that time. They changed it to Command. Now it's much better. But the number one thing I said is, I'm going to put the leads in there, but I have to every single day make sure that I'm using it. Okay, so what I do is I'll set the follow-up for each client, and I make sure that I get through the list of follow-ups each day. So make sure that you are actually touching those leads as well in your CRM. Okay, because they're just sitting there, it's useless. Because guess what? I'm going to call them because I'll find them at an open house or something, and I'm going to close that business. So do you want me to close the business, or do you guys want to close that business, right? So I love. Before I even saw this, they actually, for the first time I saw this was like a couple weeks ago, and I was literally drawing this funnel the same way all the time. And so you prospect for leads, you get them tracking and offering, right? So what it's saying is one way and offer-based touch programs, and then their contacts. Meaning you're actually contacting them, you're talking to them, you're following up with them. Again, we're gonna go through this in detail in a little bit. That's when you connect with them and cultivate, as in you qualify them, either pre-qualify or you qualify the fact that they're looking to sell pretty soon here or there. And finally, you reach the appointment. Okay, now from that could be anywhere from a week to the longest one I've nurtured is probably 6 years. And I don't mean this by somebody that I know that is in my database. You know, there are friends that, hey man, I've been thinking about selling, I was thinking about buying, 6 years later they sell or buy. That's a friend. I'm talking about, I met somebody at an open house, and 5 or 6 years later, I finally set the appointment. Like, I might do things backwards than other agents because I will call them until they list, buy, die. Like, you tell them to fuck off, okay, I won't call them again. Excuse me, but I'm very wrong with my language too. I told Amy that, she's like, well, don't throw too many headphones on. No, sorry.
Since you said you cultivated that relationship for 6 years, would you had like contact them like every year basically, or is it more like?
I personally go off of kind of the feel, but definitely more than once a year.
Okay.
Unless they specifically say, hey, don't call me more than once a year. Some will say, hey, you can check in with me, annually, and I'll go every 6 months. You have to understand that buyers and sellers lie, especially buyers are liars. They are all the time. They'll tell you they're going to buy in 6 months, and 3 months later, they already bought a house. It happens all the freaking time, and there's nothing we can do about it. But get ahead of that. So if somebody says, call me in 6 months, I'm calling them in 2 months. And everybody's like, well, what the hell do you say to them in 2 months? Hey, it's Andrey. I know you said 6 months. Just check it in. Anything I can help you with. Who's going to tell you to fuck off when you do that? If they do, then you don't want to work with them anyway. I think, right? So from there to there, it might take a long time. And then of course, active. This is going off of listings. Listings are active, under contract, closed. Active as buyers could be active as in either you signed a buyer agreement, they're looking at houses, under contract, closed, same thing. But mostly we're focusing on prospecting, but we wanted to go through. Again, it's not always going to take 5-6 years, guys. I don't want to scare you. Usually it's 3 to 6 months. But I built my business on expireds, and last 2 years, I've never dialed an expired until today while training my assistant. And last year I closed 2 old expireds from like 2-3 years that I've been cultivating. And I say nurturing, so I won't say cultivate today, nurture. Same thing, nurture, but it's all equally important, but it all starts up there. Any questions? No? Everybody's doing that? You guys are all closing like 30 deals a year, huh?
No. So are you calling now that there are very few expired?
So let me give you an example. I stopped calling because I got busy and I didn't have an assistant. So last year I closed 49 deals myself without an assistant, just a TC. So I had no time to call. Plus I have 2 little kids, 3-year-old, 1-year-old. I'm like, shit, what? I'm not gonna fucking wake up at 7:30, input the expireds and then dial. Like I have no time for that. I was just too busy. And I was thinking the same thing. And today we dialed with my assistant. I was showing her how to call. And out of 16 dials, we had 6 contacts, which is considered pretty darn good. Usually 15 to 20% answer rate is okay. This was like closer to 35%. And I got 2 nurtures out of it, no appointments. Out of 16 dials. That's fucking good. Okay. So I don't know if it's only today.
It's the first of the month.
It is the first of the month. There's more. But it's pretty darn good. I mean, you get 2 leads a day. 2 leads a day is a lot. Even for 10 leads a week, 40 leads a month. Can you get 2 deals a month out of that? Oh yeah, easily. So I was always under the impression you can do whatever the hell you want to find business as long as you're consistently doing it.
So have you tried calling, say, expired that happened 2018?
Yeah, they're the best. I don't know if you guys heard, she said, have you tried calling expireds from 2018? Yes. Will a lot of them have sold already? 100%, they might have. But those that haven't, guess what? In 2018, you know why they expired? We were overpriced. Guess what? Prices skyrocketed. Yeah, I know there's a lot of those sellers that are like, if it's worth 700, they want 800, right? And then it's worth 800, and they want 900. They always want more. But there are those in 2018 that they wanted a certain price, and they're willing to take that and a little bit more. So 100%. Some of those that I sold last year were like that. They couldn't get the price they wanted at first, and now they're like, well, shit, prices went up. Let's do this. So yeah, I would definitely call old expires. And if your guys are not calling them, my new assistant, she's gonna be calling all of them. So that's just how it is. Who's gonna get there first, or who's gonna get in the door first? So I think expires and open houses are the best source for now business. These are unexpired sellers that are saying, hey, I'm looking to sell. They were on the market. I mean, they're looking to sell. Like, why are you gonna go and look for business or pay for realtor.com leads when these people have raised their hand and said, hey, look, I went on the market. I want to sell. I just had a shitty agent or whatever it might be. And then open houses, I told people, right? He did an open house with me. He was shadowing me. We were sitting there. People were coming in and they're asking us questions. Like, it doesn't get better than that. Like, you guys don't understand how good that is. Like, you're not even cold calling. You're sitting there. People are coming to you. Like, you're not spending money, maybe on signs. You fucking borrow mine if you want. But you're just sitting there. People are coming to you. That's the best way for now business. And so, man, if I was starting out now, it would just be expires, open houses, every single day. mean, you can do open houses on weekdays. So, you guys do open houses?
I did open house this weekend, both Saturday and Sunday.
Mhm.
I had 50 families.
50?
Yes, walk through the door.
You got some good leads out of it, right? All right. You guys do open houses? Did you start doing open houses, Paul?
I haven't gone yet.
All right, get on it.
And if anyone wants to come with me, I'm always doing it alone, or looking for a partner to be with me.
There you go.
Because I don't like, because when there's 50 people coming through the door, somebody else.
Not even just talk, but for safety sometimes. Hey, I'm a guy and sometimes some weird situations, I'm telling you. So be careful. And yeah, there's always safety classes out there too, so. Open houses?
I'm a brand new agent, so I just got licensed like 2 weeks ago.
Okay, it's a good class. Anybody else? How do you guys find business?
I just started last week, so.
Okay, good. This is the best class to be in. Like I was telling Paul when we did the open house, what did I say, Paul? You were taking classes, right? You're learning contracts, things like that. So while you're doing that, do everything you can to find business. Doesn't matter if you know what you're doing or not. Just go find that business because the rest will come. The hardest part in real estate is not selling the house or finding the house for the buyer. It's finding the business. You know why? Because you and everybody's mom and everybody's grandma has their license. Everybody, especially in my community. I'm Ukrainian. Everybody has their license. Like my friend that I know will go with somebody else. My sister's sister-in-law has her license. I was a little worried she might go with her because it's her husband's sister, right? So that's the most business out there. So do everything you can, and we're going to go over not every single, but a lot of the techniques today and what you can do. But open houses and expireds. If I was a brand new agent today, that's exactly what I'd be doing. Okay. Any other questions?
I have a question. Sorry.
Yep.
I might have missed it.
Go
I
ahead.
might have missed it, but how do you find expireds?
So there are different programs out there. First off, if you want just to know which house is expired, just go on MLS, do a search for expired or canceled listings. So you can go on standard searches, and then where you can check mark active or pending, there's expired and canceled. That will just show you what expired. Now, if you have no money to spend on finding their phone numbers, go knock on their door. Yeah. Like, how bad do you want the business? How bad do you want $10,000, $15,000, $20,000, depending on the price range? You can knock on their door. Now, again, if you are short on money, there's free ways you can look up the addresses. And I think Spokio might be free or very cheap. White Pages. Okay. Now I'm using a program called Vulcan 7. It's more pricey. I upload the whole list and it spits out the numbers within a matter of 10, 20 minutes. And then I dial it with a 3-way dialer. So I'm trying to dial 20 people in 20 minutes.
So the dialer comes with that?
Vulcan 7 has a dialer, but it's a 1-line dialer. Okay, I like to use three-line dialers, whereas dialing 3 people at once. That way I'm not wasting any time. You have to understand that at 8 a.m., every motivated agent in Sacramento is calling these expireds. So by 8:15, 8:20, kind of fucked. Because you're the 20th person. Why the hell are you calling me? And they will cuss you out. They will cuss you out. So see, she knows.
I got a couple weeks ago. I was calling up basically that I got and the guy literally yelled at me. So I.
Yep.
All kinds.
On Zoom, if you didn't hear it, she had a Facebook lead and the guy yelled at her. So you will, I mean, you have to get used to the no's. Every single no gets you closer to the yes. Yeah. So I use Vulcan 7. It comes with a dialer. It's more expensive. It's like 300 something a month for the system. There's Land Voice. Land Voice, I think, is a little cheaper. There's Red X. Red X is a very popular one. RED and just X. And Mojo Dialer, the dialer that I use, I believe you can pay for expireds as well. And FSBOs for sale by owners. even though they are succeeding in this market, it's very hot. I've never worked them, so I can't, I mean, I've closed maybe one or two. I can't really speak for those, but I know expires are great anytime. Great question. Did you get those or you want me to repeat them?
So the Mojo comes with the dialer?
Mojo comes with the dialer and you can pay for expired as well.
How much
Well,
do you pay monthly?
for just the dialer, it's 150 plus another 10 for the actual database, to use the database, and then you have to pay for expired. I don't know how much that is. Yeah. So there's a lot of them out there. You just, I mean, those are the ones I named are the top ones out there. Any other questions?
Do you know if there's an agent to agent open house script, like to ask them to host their open house for them?
I'm sure there are, I think even my buyer's agent has some kind of script that he just copy pastes. Here, I'm under the impression, like, when I get an email from an agent to do an open house, I ignore it. Like, if you don't have time to call me or text me, like, that's just me personally. I could be a dick sometimes. What's up, Bobby? I would call the agent. Like, unless I really need that open house held or like my agent canceled on me, I'm gonna probably ignore the email. So pick up the phone and call and just say, hey, look, I'm so-and-so. I wouldn't even say you're a new agent. Hey, I'm an agent at Keller Williams, or I'm an agent in your office. And I'd like to hold an open house on 123 Main Street. Can I do that this Saturday and Sunday? And so, like, I say Monday, Tuesday. If you're focused on doing open houses, Monday, Tuesday, your open houses for Saturday, Sunday should be set by Tuesday, end of day. Because if you guys don't follow, have you guys seen the 7th level open house yet? Some of the new agents probably haven't. So 7th level open house gives you 7 levels of what you should be doing for an open house. And that's gonna take up an entire week. You're gonna door knock around the neighborhood, you're gonna call around the neighborhood, you're gonna have a ton of signs. So every Saturday morning, you're gonna take up the whole morning doing like 30 signs, right? But by Tuesday end of day, you should be done scheduling your open houses. Unless you really can't find one. If you can't find one, keep looking. But if you're focused on 2 open houses a weekend, 3, 4 open houses a weekend, which is possible. I know an agent that did, I think 120 open houses in a year. And she was doing 4 a weekend. That's possible. But if you're doing that, Monday, Tuesday, you should spend a few hours looking for an open house and call the agent. Like, I guarantee a lot of these agents will ignore your emails. You have to call them or text them and be like, hey, can I hold an open house?
So to do a call in the office to find the open house, agent you're calling wants to know what you're gonna do at the open house. So you should have it prepared, what, like you said.
Yeah, that's great.
Calling the neighborhood, putting signs out, what else you're gonna do to market, because you're marketing their property at the same time. So they wanna know what you're gonna be doing to sell, to do the open house.
Yes, certain agents will want to know what you're gonna do. Me, when somebody comes to me, I just wanna know that I'm gonna get feedback at the end. That's it, you know, but other agents, they wanna know you're gonna dump the neighborhood, you're gonna advertise their listing, right? And if you just shoot them a copy paste email, I ignore it. I'm just I would ignore it. Like, I had that happen a few weeks ago for my Marysville listing. I ignored it. But the person that calls me, I'd at least say, hey, the owner doesn't want it. But the email, I wouldn't even respond. Like, take the time and effort to call.
What is the reason the owner wouldn't want to open house?
There's plenty of reasons. Some, they have little kids, they're taking naps, they're afraid that people are walking through the house. I mean, you name it. Working from home, even weekends. Yeah,
Valuables in the home.
yeah, valuables. There's a lot of reasons. So, but I would definitely call the agents, and if they don't pick up the phone, text them. Take the time. And when you said scripts, you can have something, but I'd say just don't be too scripted either, because agents could be sometimes like leads. Like, you don't want to sound scripted. Like, hey, I'm so-and-so, I'm gonna do great on your listing here in Natomas, and I'm gonna door knock the neighborhood, and I'm gonna get you feedback. Like, can I hold your open house? Just spend the time, and the way I teach my agents is start with our office, okay? And what I do is go on the MLS and search the listings that are listed by this office. If you already called all the houses that you wanted, all the agents that you wanted, go back to the MLS, pick all the Keller Williams in the vicinity. I'd say up to Yuba City Sutter because they might be listed here as well. And then go through their listing and call all the KWs.
I have a question.
Yeah.
So this is my first time actually logging into the MLS because I just paid for it this morning. So how would I search Keller Williams or our office or the listings from our office?
So searches, hover over searches, and at the very, I think the very bottom, it should be agent/office. And that will take you to a pop-up screen. I'm going from memory, guys, so
Yeah.
it will pop up, and then you'll click on, there's a little button you can click on and choose offices. And what I go through is the cities that are nearby. Sacramento office, Folsom, Elk Grove, Roseville, Yuba Sutter. I might go as far as Stockton because Stockton agents might be listed here. If the listing is in Stockton, you're not gonna hold an open house, but if the listing is still here, you can still. So I would call KW agents first. But yeah, searches, hover over searches at the very bottom, agent/office.
Okay, got it. Thank you.
Yeah. And then if you can't find one within KW, which highly unlikely you won't, because there's a ton of listings out there. You can go to other brokerages. You know, there's certain ones that won't let other brokerages hold it. But call. You'll figure it out sooner or later. I mean, think about it. You're doing 2 open houses a week. Even if you get 1 lead from each open house, that's 1 to 8 leads a month. I mean, can you convert at least one of those to a sale? If not one, can you do one every 2 months? Are you okay with 10 grand every 2 months just to start with? You're doing 2 open houses and you're getting 10 grand, either a month or every 2 months, just from doing 2 open houses a weekend. It's not that hard. Simple, not easy. It's very simple, but it's hard to follow. All right, other questions? Nope. All right. Let's move on. Carnegie change it again. Carnegie. I broke it. I probably broke it. You know, if I didn't have this, I'd be jumping around too much. That's okay. Go ahead. Hey, thank you. Is that the same thing?
Ask a question.
Yeah, go ahead. Go ahead. Darius, was that you or was it? No.
No, that was somebody else, not me.
Okay. Whoever that was, you can unmute yourself again and ask. No. Okay. So I think a lot of this was what we went through. Okay. So I touched on some of this, but so lead generation could be prospecting or marketing. You guys know the difference between the two? It says it right there, but do you know the real difference between the two? No. So prospecting, you're actively going out finding that business, which is why I love open houses. Is this kind of finding new? Like that's why cold calling, door knocking, actively reaching out to agent, like reaching out to agents in San Francisco. Hey, do you have clients moving here? That's actively prospecting, looking for business, right? Marketing is spending marketing dollars and having the business come to you.
Can you do it or not?
What's that?
Unmuted.
We don't hear you, so I don't know what you were asking. We don't hear you.
Sorry.
Right, talk to your kids. So marketing is you spending the money, and the business is coming to you. Now, that's expensive and it's not guaranteed. It's hard to track, but there's a lot of ways to do that, right? Buying online leads, realtor.com, Zillow, paying for Google leads, Facebook leads, farming, radio, billboards. I mean, you name it. There's a ton of ways to do that as well. If you have the money, it can be easier on you in a way, but it's going to cost a lot of money. It's not going to be guaranteed. And the crazy thing is you can spend $2,000-$3,000 a month on realtor.com or Zillow leads. And guess what? They'll call you once, but you're still following up with them for another 3 to 4 months, up to 6 years or whatever you're going to do, right? So you're still doing the same thing. You're just getting the lead faster without putting in the work.
What would you say the top 3 companies to buy?
I wouldn't say there's a top 3. First of all, I don't really buy leads. It really depends how much you want to spend. Some of the most popular ones are realtor.com, Zillow, a lot of Google PPC leads. PPC means pay per click. You're paying per click. Facebook is huge and cheap.
You can buy leads from Facebook?
Yeah, you can do ads. Forget who does our tech. So they can show you how to do that. And actually through command, it's like freaking easy. I mean, I used to do it through Facebook myself, and I only do ads through command now. And I only pay like $1.50 or $2 per lead. So keep in mind though, Facebook leads, you have to understand that when you're doing realtor.com leads or Zillow leads, these are leads that are literally clicking on houses and saying, hey, I want to see this house, or hey, I have a question about this house. They're basically coming to you saying, give me information. Okay, now you're going to Google leads. They're searching for houses in Sacramento or realtors in Sacramento, and they're clicking on it, and they're probably forced to sign in, so they kind of have to. So they're semi-warm. Now, Facebook, they're just clicking on things on Facebook, and they finally see a house. Oh, let me check this out. They're very, very passive leads. So that's why they're the cheapest. They're very passive leads, and they're going to take you longer to convert. So I think Google PPC was anywhere between 6 and 12 months on average, while Facebook is 12 to 18 months on average to convert. Not saying that you won't hit a diamond every now and then that's ready to go, but usually it's going to take longer. That's why they're cheaper. So you can build your database, or if you will, you call your database of leads or pipeline of Facebook, but they're going to take a while. It's going to take up a lot of your time. You're going to be calling a lot of these leads. Make sense? So yeah, I'd say Realtor, Zillow, and then of course Google is pretty good.
What about Red X?
Redx, as far as I know, it's all it is expired physical phone numbers, things like that. I don't know if Redx. There's people that are trying to sell you leads everywhere. Landvoice is also looking for finding expired data that's not leads. Yeah, people are going to try to take your money anywhere they can. Again, I probably pay for like one lead source, and it's like $350 a month. So I don't really pay for leads. If I do, sometimes some Facebook stuff to have to build a pipeline a little bit. What else do I pay for? I don't. I pay ISAs, sales agents, to cold call instead of leads. So I basically when I was building my business, I said, what can I do? First off, that I don't have to be in the fucking cold outside when it's cold or when it's hot. I don't have to be sweating doing open houses. Like, they're great. I don't like doing them because it's cold, it's hot. I don't like door knocking because it's raining, it's cold, it's hot. Like, what the hell can I do? So I said, okay, I'm gonna cold call. I'm gonna sit in my office, rain or shine, have my coffee, listen to my music, throw my feet up, and I'm just gonna cold call. And then I also looked at, is this something that can expand? I was like, door knocking, yeah, you can hire people to knock for you. But I feel like if I'm already doing cold call, I could hire people to call for me. And so that's the way I did it when I was building my business. I said, okay, I'm going to do something that I don't have to be outside, and that I can literally expand on when the time comes. So look into your future 5 years from now. Like that's where I am. That's where I looked when I started, and now I'm looking at, okay, I hired my assistant that's going to call for me and be my assistant, and I have 3 virtual ISAs in the Philippines that are calling me. I'm expanding, and I don't have to do it myself. Yeah. So part 2 of your lead gen is database. Okay. And so you're brand new. You said you're brand new. You've been in a little bit. New. You've been around for what? 5 months, 4 months? Paul?
Here, a couple.
How long?
Yeah.
Okay. Have you guys called through your phone book already? Through your contacts in your phone? You did? Why the hell not? These people know you.
You're young.
What? What's that? You're afraid?
You're young.
They're young? So? Simple as so. You guys haven't taken bold either. Take bold, by the way. It's a lot of rah-rah, but it's a lot of good stuff too. I've taken it 3 times. Very first time I'm self-motivated, I'm money motivated. Fuck this class, I don't need this, I just go and just do it, right? But somebody forced me to take bold. So there's one script, and I was pleasantly surprised. We're calling through our phone book, and all you say is, hey, this is Andrey with Keller Williams Realty. I'm taking a class today, and we have a contest. The one to get the most referrals wins. Do you happen to know anybody looking to buy, sell, or invest in real estate? That's it. That's it. And I had a guy that I didn't even know, like maybe you met him once. And he's like, I think my brother might be looking to sell. Oh, shit, let me get his phone number. Called his brother. He said, yeah, maybe 2 months. Guess what? In 2 months, he listed the house and he sold. So it's very, very easy. And it's a good way to jump in for new agents. Hey, look, I got my license. I'm actually taking a class today. I hope you can help me out. Just looking, the one that gets the most referrals wins. Do you know anybody looking to buy, sell, or invest? So database, database is pretty much people you know. And if you read the MREA, the Millionaire Real Estate book, they'll call it METs, people you've met. If you haven't read that book, read it. Like MREA, Millionaire Real Estate Agent. It's called the Red Book. John should have it. Front desk should probably have it. If you have not read it, you should read it because it's going to go over this in detail. Not only this, but also your money spending model, your building a team model if you want to build it. I mean, it goes over everything. It pretty much gives you the steps to make $1 million if you want that. People say they want it, not everybody wants it. Like I know the work that comes with it. I'm not pushing myself to make $1 million, right? People say they want it. That's not always true. You can say it, but when you see the work you need, in real estate, you can easily get there, right? But you're going to put in a lot of work. So, but read the book. You don't have to want to make $1 million for the book to help you. It's freaking great. There's so much good information. But your database, everybody you know, and everybody you're adding, okay? And you're constantly dripping on them. You're sending in emails, postcards. There's going to be, I think the next slide or one of the slides after it will show you there, right? So here's the difference between the two. So leads, you have valid contact. Contacts, you have valid contact information and receive permission. So we call them METs, people you've met or you've talked to, you've received permission to be contacting them, right? Could be leads that you had a good conversation with. I usually see it, the database as people you already know. That's the way I kind of look at it, right? These are just definitions. So there it is. Awesome. So let me start. I'm going to go backwards. We were talking about database. 36 touches a year. Okay. Doesn't matter how you do it. Touch them 36 times. So they say 4 touches, telephone calls. Okay, in my business, I kind of classify them as people that I'm closer with, and you can classify them as A, B, and C contacts, or whatever way you want. But my A contacts, I call them way more often than once a quarter. I'll call them maybe once every 2 months, maybe more. If it's somebody close, hey, you want to grab a drink? With no intention of asking for real estate. Okay, but what are you going to talk about? What do you do for work? Right. You're going to ask me what I do for work, and guess what? You're going to get into real estate. How's the market? Fucking hot. So, at least 4 touches by phone call. These are people you know. Everybody in your contact list should be getting a call from you every quarter. If they're not, why are they in your contact list? I'm not talking to them anyway. Make use out of it, right? So 26 touches bi-weekly call, or excuse me, bi-weekly email, offering some type of information. I always forget to do this because mine's not automated. So you guys should make it automated. There's all kinds of smart plans and command to do it. Okay. Mine is always, not always, but usually a video, and I'll talk about something. So first video of this year I sent out was just, hey, there's a picture of my family. Hey, Andrey Z Real Estate Group. We had a great year in 2021. We helped 55 families, and thank you so much. I thanked everybody for the business, and I just sent out a video saying that. And if you know anybody else, or if you plan on doing anything, give me a call. That was just the first one. It should go out bi-weekly, whether it's a video or just something regarding the market. Shoot, I don't care if it's inviting people to some comedy show or something. Hey, here's a schedule of things at Golden One Center. Doesn't matter, as long as your picture's at the bottom and it says that you sell real estate. All you want to do is keep them top of mind. You want them to think of you when it comes to real estate. Okay? 2 touches events, get-togethers. I did 1 last year. Probably should do 2. My clients are weird; they never show up. Even though I get a lot of referrals, they just don't show up to our events. And then promotional direct mail, magnet calendar, market report, whatever. It doesn't have to be exactly like this. For me, I want to do 12 touches with direct mail. That's once a month, postcard. I'll do a bunch of phone calls and then a bunch of emails, and I'm at 36. It's really easy to do 36. But if you're not doing 30, this is research shows that you want to do 36 for them to actually think of you when it comes to real estate. That's why it's 36. If it's more, even better. So I have clients that reach out to me and randomly just, hey, what do you think of this? Or, hey, this house worth buying? And they're not even close to buying. They're just asking me questions. I love it. You know why? Because they're thinking of me when it comes to real estate. I have friends that have been calling me asking about real estate 3, 4, 5 years, and they're not going to buy it. But when they think of real estate, they think of me. You meet him like my friend at an open house, they're never going to use you. Guess what? Because they're getting my 36 touch, and they're thinking of me. And then leads. As far as the phone calls go, I personally go based off of what they tell me. They say follow up in a month, I call them in 2 weeks. They say 3 months, I call them a month and a half. 6 months, 3 months. At least half or less. Buyers are liars. And then all the other touches as well. Again, this is just an example. So many different things you can do. Any questions? No? Zoom, any questions? No, all right. So this is command. There's so much things you can do, guys. I mean, man. So this is just an example, but the best thing you can do is just organize your database to however fits for you, and so you're touching them as much as you can. For me, the custom tags is the best. I'll tag people in like dialers. So if they're not picking the phone up like 4 or 5th time already. I'll tag him, March dialer. And I'll throw him in a dialer. And guess what? I'll get through 100 phone calls in, less than an hour. And I'll leave automated voicemails. And that's it. And they'll hear from me. They'll get a voicemail from me, even if they don't pick up the phone. And I'll do that every month until they pick up the phone or buy, or sell or buy, right? So everybody in your phone book that you already called or you will call in the next week, make sure they're added to your command. You don't have to do it, but if you want to close deals, probably will. All right. We're not going to go through all this, guys. Smart plans we will review. This is like a completely different class, but it's not. Okay. So smart plans, this is the cool thing about Command and other CRMs. You don't have to do any of this yourself. Like, yeah, I'm doing mine, and guess what? I forget to send out those emails. I probably should not be doing it myself. I should probably just put them on a smart plan. Literally, just throw them in there. If you don't have their email, you better call everybody and get their email, especially if you know them. It's really easy. I mean, your friend of 2, 3, 4, 5 years, they don't give you their email, are they really your friend? And then throw them in, and there's a ton of different midterm nurture, 6 steps. There's 15, 8x8 new engagement, a new contact that you meet. You meet at an open house, put them on that 15 steps, 8 weeks. That's 8 weeks of a bunch of emails going out, and it's actually, I think that it actually sets a follow-up call for you. So all you do is put their information in, click on that, and when that day comes and you have a scheduled follow-up call, make that call. That's it. Easy. Am I making sense? All right. All right, recap and I'll pause. What do you guys think?
I learned a lot. Thank you. I like that you said to call the agent directly. I have been sending texts and emails, but yeah, I mean, I need to get on the phone and call.
Yep. Any other ahas?
Yes.
Go ahead.
Sorry, can you repeat that? My daughter is screaming in the background.
Oh, I was saying if there's any other ahas, you can say them.
Oh, for me, it's just getting on the phone and calling. I have been doing, like I said, emails and texts, but not really making the calls. And so I like how you said either, figure it out for yourself, go door knock, or, think about your business, what it's going to be like 5 years from now and what you can expand on. So.
Now, do you know why you see these, people that literally just got their license like a week ago or 2 weeks ago, might not have heard these stories yet, but these people that go from like CEO jobs making 150, 200 grand, like with families, they get fired or they'll quit their job and they get into real estate in the first year, they make more than their job. You know why? No, that could be part of it. That could be part of it. They have a big why. They have a motivation. They don't make money. Their kids don't eat. Like it's plain and simple. They wake up in the morning. They have to do the work. They're not going to be afraid to call because is a phone call really that'll deter you from feeding your kids or paying your mortgage? This is why these people quit their jobs. And they just, first year, 30, 40, 50 deals. That's it. It's the motivation behind it. You can sit there and think about doing an open house or think about making that first call or think about it while they're actually doing it consistently every single day. And guess what? If you really want to succeed, 7 days a week. It's how bad do you want it? Like everybody wants to make $1 million, but they really don't because they're not doing the work. Like people don't, yeah, I closed 49 deals last year and probably worked the least amount last year than all my other years. But people, they don't see the first couple of years when coming in at 7:30, leaving at 7:30, 12-hour days, at least 5 days a week. You have to put in that work. Business is not gonna just come to you unless you're spending a ton of money. And then if you're spending a ton of money, you better be closing enough business to have a net, a net profit. So that's all it is. It's like she said, like not just texting and emailing, getting down, doing the work, or failing. That's why it's simple and not easy. It's simple because the tasks are very, very simple. And we simplify them. We tell you what to do. But actually doing it consistently, that's the hard part. That's why it's not easy. Any other ahas, guys?
I like what you said about finding the expires. I know we thought about doing, sorry, a thing that you could do.
Yeah. Yeah, we're gonna have in your booklet, and there will be later on a list of all kinds of different forms of lead gen. But yeah, expireds.
I know you said like how calling is like the main thing, but how do you feel about reaching out to people like in social media? Because in my case, like I feel like I have more presence on social media rather than my phone contact itself.
Yeah.
So would you say it's still like the same thing or like the same value?
I not the same, no, but very close. A phone call is always going to be a better touch than a message or a text. When you're talking to somebody, you even have a better chance of converting it into an appointment. People could easily ignore your message. When you're on the phone with them already, they have a hard time saying no. Phone is going to be, eventually you're going to end up on the phone with them anyway. Whatever you do in business, it's very rare that you're going to do a whole transaction without making phone calls. Very rare. I've done a few where it's text message or like email only, and still a couple of times I've talked to them on the phone. But you'll get some of those, people my age or younger. I'm not that old. I'm only 30, so I'm saying my age or younger that only want to text or email. You'll get a lot of those. You're still going to end up on the phone. Like I had my client yesterday, and was it yesterday? Sunday, signed the listing, and he's maybe 50s. He's like, I have to at least want to talk to somebody on the phone. I'm not going to do business or just write an offer without talking to my agent. We got into this conversation because I referred him to an agent in Chico or Oroville. And he's like, yeah, I haven't really talked to her about the house, but I need to talk to her. Like, there's no way I'm writing an offer until I actually talk to her. I was like, well, you can just text her everything. No, I need to talk to her. People are going to want to talk to you. They're buying a $500,000 house. If they know you personally, it might be easier just to text.
Yeah.
On social media, yeah, you better be posting on social media. Like if you guys are not doing that, you're doing something wrong. Like you better be at least 3 times a week you're posting, and not all about real estate. I have to force myself. My Instagram of 10,000 followers got disabled. I just made a new one. I'm only at 500 now. But I have to force myself to post stuff. I forget. But guess what? I've had times where people from my old church reached out. Hey, I want to write an offer on this house. Haven't seen her in like 2 years. Wrote an offer, didn't get it. Wrote an offer again, got it. She closed. That was a year ago. Guess what? She sold a year later. This was really recent then. She moved to Florida. 2 transactions just from Instagram for people I knew. So hell yeah. Any social media, whatever you're using, I use only Instagram and Facebook. But if you're using Twitter or TikTok, yeah, you should be posting like all the freaking time. And make sure they know you're in real estate, but don't overdo it because they're gonna unfollow you. Where is that's a video? Wanted to get you guys to that video, but any questions while I'm looking? Nope. We're good. Everybody knows what to do. might have missed the video, but I want to find it for you guys. Give me 1 second. Oh. Hey, Amy? Did I miss the video? I'm trying to find it. First I was thinking I won't take up the full hour. Now I think I'm gonna go over.
Oh, okay. All right, I actually love this video.
Oh, shit, it is 11 already. Wow.
Where?
If you guys have to leave, you can leave because we are at 11, but I'd say stay. Yeah, I'm not sure if it wasn't there or we just skipped it. Thank you.
Lead generation is the first thing you should do.
Made those calls.
I took what I already knew and how I would go and shop for a house and just applied it to them.
It's a numbers game, you know. If you can track how many people you're calling in a day and how many hours you're doing it, there's a formula.
Made those calls.
I used those things that I did innately to attract my clients.
I became a hyper-local expert in the military because I am a military spouse. The two key things that I did to generate the most success for me were social media and open houses because I didn't have the database like everybody else did. So I had to find ways that I could get in front of people fast and also something that would be maybe the buyer or seller would be ready and willing to buy now versus later. And I'm lead generating specifically in an area that is military friendly, military heavy. It really is in the follow-up. Be present in their lives, build a relationship. Don't just ask for business every single time you see them. Be present in their lives, build the relationship. The least effective marketing activities for me were cold calling. And that's just because my niche market, they're not gonna be already local, they're gonna be moving from other bases. Then I decided, well, if I'm gonna leverage cold calling, let's do it more purposeful and let's do it only in my niche market where I know that there's military there. They're likely to buy or sell in 3 to 4 years. Mindset was a huge part of my success. One of the things I tell myself for an open house is one good lead every time. And so I start that action at least a week beforehand. I do a social media campaign. I follow up with all the likes and comments. And then I do a door knock around the open house. And then I follow up with anybody who is active at the open house. And usually that results in at least one buyer or seller leads, usually more.
So my first year, obviously, you know, the minute I made the change, it's super scary. I've got a network of people still reaching out to me to, you know, help them with what I was doing before, which was post-production. And I knew that my job in the beginning of the year, starting out, was changing people's mind from thinking if they met somebody who needed a commercial made, they thought of me. I knew my job was to change all the people who knew and trusted me when they heard somebody needed to buy a house or sell their house, they thought of me. You know, if you're starting out and you don't have that network, be really intentional about where you spend your time. You go get gas, you could meet somebody who needs to buy a house. Just think that way and you'll attract that to yourself. I think everybody likes to talk about real estate. Your job is for people to know that you are in real estate and that they will bring it up. open houses are by far just the best thing you should do out of the gate every weekend, each day. Starting out, I did door knocking, I did mailing, I didn't get a great return, but I wouldn't change that. If I was starting out again, I would door knock, because just talking to people, getting rejected, it's great experience no matter what. I'll also say that the most important thing is that your lead generation strategy is coming from a place of authenticity. You're not going to get every client in the city, but there are people out there that are going to resonate with who you are, and just figure out a way to bring value. The income is secondary. That's how I go about it, and I think that really resonates with my set of people that I take care of.
My lead generation strategies in the beginning were a challenge. I actually honestly believed when I first started that lead generation was cold calling and door knocking. So I kind of stayed away from that. I was fearful, I was anxious. But over the course of the business, the things that were innate to me, networking, open houses, facilitating classes, it allowed me the opportunity to connect, and I start to see that as opportunities for lead gen. And it was far more effective for me because it was natural. Let me just go back. When I became a new agent, from the time that I was in Ignite and graduated from Ignite in October, November, December, I closed with 8 transactions in just 3 months. And during that period of time, I noticed a developmental gap. And I say this to say, I was spurred to partner and collaborate with some other agents and create master classes, as well as launch and learns monthly to share, mindset, motivational speaking. And through this, I was able to build a community, or I was able to build a group and a network broader than myself that basically helped others in home buying, and also with other agents to help build their skill sets. It has put me and set me apart from other agents. Lead gen pitfalls that I've seen agents do are just being cookie cutter, looking at a successful agent or looking at someone else and doing exactly what they do doesn't necessarily work for everyone. Scripts gave me more confidence to be able to know what to say when I was talking to certain clients. Also, there's different approaches to different questions that may be asked. So instead of looking at scripts as, oh, I have to memorize this verbatim, it was a resource to gain knowledge and definitely helped me to build confidence, even though I was not planning on using it verbatim. I've always said my purpose is to empower and to elevate others to a level of excellence. And when I meet with my clients, I want to make sure that they have enough information and they feel empowered to make the decision. How can I do that? How can I help you to make you feel that once we've made this connection, you are elevated?
With my time blocking, for the first 2 hours of every day, I would do lead generation. And sometimes it would be 4 hours if I wasn't getting the productivity that week that I wanted. And then I followed up with all of my clients and learned just lots of very successful habits through Ignite. I think that a lot of new agents want to try all different types of lead generation. You're not really honing any talent in one or two different lead generation. There's all kinds of different models, but they are not made for everybody. The best lead generation model for me was my sphere. I called my sphere every day. The number 2 way that I got business and did lead generations was open house. I found for me the best way to connect was to be in front of them. People I already knew that I had built a relationship with, or I had met at an open house and I had time to actually connect with them. The scripts that the Ignite program provided for me really worked because they helped me get out of my comfort zone when I was having to call everybody in my phone book and let them know that I had transitioned job, what I was doing, and it gave me the dialogue to ask. On our team, we have picked 6 different nonprofits locally that we like. And we do an event with all of those nonprofits every year. And we meet lots of new people that way. We invite all of our former clients. We invite our vendors. And then we invite the neighborhoods. We go door knocking for the event around the park doing this. And then we also have client appreciation. We try to do that quarterly. We'll do a client appreciation event where we invite everybody out to a restaurant and then we provide appetizers. And we just have fun. It's not necessarily a salesy event. It's just about having fun. By being out in the community, they see that We are knowledgeable about what we're doing, but we're also giving back. We care about where we live.
My first year as a realtor, I tried just about everything in terms of prospecting and lead generation. What I found for me was that I present best when I'm face-to-face with somebody. So I really focused on open houses and then networking and getting out for coffees, making myself visible in the community, and then always making sure that I was able to speak to what was happening in the market at any time. So keeping up to date with local news and projects in and around town, I found to be very helpful when talking with people. To set myself apart from the many other agents out there, I've been utilizing video. And I find that putting the videos out on Facebook and a YouTube channel, and then even emailing them to clients, really allows people to feel like they get to know you. And I've had experiences where I've talked to people on the phone, and they were, especially with out-of-town investor clients, and they were not necessarily ready to go with me until I sent them a video saying hello, outlining how I could help them. It was good to have the phone call with them, etc. And the feedback I've gotten on the videos has been very, very strong. The biggest pitfalls I saw other agents having, and even fell into myself with lead generation, was not having consistent follow-up. So if I had an open house and I got some names and numbers and contacts and told them I'd be in touch with them, sometimes I would get overwhelmed and I wouldn't touch base with them in a timely manner, or to follow up on calls with somebody that has shown some interest. Making sure that you stay on top of things and follow up with your contacts is very important. Scripts are great for understanding what objections you might encounter and how to overcome those objections. What I discovered was I would learn what the foundation of the script was. What was it trying to get me to say? And then I would be able to, just by knowing that and having read it over and over and over, when I would have an objection come up, I was able to utilize those scripts, the content of the scripts, in my own words.
Okay. Any questions, guys? I know we're past that hour, but anything else? Anybody on Zoom? Any questions? What's the main thing you heard like a million times in this video? Yeah. As much as I hate doing them myself, it's great. So, one other thing I'll leave you guys with is, yes, have one lead generation tool that you're good at, but make sure you're not depending on just one. Four-legged stool. Okay, you always have to remember the four-legged stool. One leg breaks, you're still okay. Another one breaks, now you're falling, right? But if you have one, you're not standing on anything. That one lead generation, the one prospect and whatever leads you get from breaks, you're done. Okay, so make sure you're getting business from multiple sources. All right. Okay, if you guys need anything, any questions, my office is in that back corner. You guys can come by anytime. Okay. Thank you so much, guys. Have a great day. Bye.